Do you need antivirus software going into 2026? I think this is an important, fundamental, yet controversial question that is important to ask. And as somebody that works in cybersecurity, it's important for people to understand whether or not these programs are worth it, especially since it's yet another subscription to pay for every single month. But in order to answer that question, it's important to understand a concept called defense in depth, which is a military concept, but it's also used in the cybersecurity world. Now, defense in depth essentially means that there's layers to security. So there's different things that you can do to protect yourself, your data, and your devices. And for the sake of this video, we're specifically talking about your personal security at home. We're not talking about companies or organizations, just to be clear. And so when it comes to your home security, your personal security of your devices, there are 4 layers to the defense in depth of your home and your digital devices. And at layer 1 is going to be you. It's going to be your knowledge and your awareness of the threats that are out there and what you can do to protect yourself, and you essentially being cautious and ensuring that you're not practicing unsafe behavior when going online or using your devices to make sure that you stay as safe as possible and prevent malware from being installed on your devices in the first place. At layer 2, you have your router, which is what all of your devices connect to get out to the internet. And so you have to make sure that your router is properly secured, that it has good security features, that it has a firewall that is enabled and is able to block out a lot of the malicious threats that are out there. And that alone can block out a lot of the things that you would have to worry about when it comes to malicious websites or websites that would download malware onto your devices, because those can get blocked right at your router and you wouldn't have to worry as much about those threats. And then comes layer 3, which is essentially you setting up your devices, your computer, your phone, and anything else that has to connect to the internet to be as secure as possible, meaning that you're enabling security features, disabling certain settings that are unsafe that you don't use, uninstalling apps that you don't use, making sure that apps have the right permissions so that they don't have too many permissions, that you're setting up your browser settings to be as safe as possible so that they block certain types of files and malware, and that you're keeping all of your devices up to date as well. And finally, circling back to antivirus software. Antivirus software sits at layer 4, which is essentially the last line of defense. So if everything else fails, if you accidentally fall for a phishing email and click on a link that takes you to a bad website, and your router's security features fails to stop you from accessing that website, and your browser fails to stop you from accessing that website, then you have the antivirus software, which will block any potential malicious programs that get installed on your computer or on your phone. And so that's important to understand, that antivirus software that is there just in case, that is there for peace of mind to protect you in case you fall victim to these online threats. The next consideration when it comes to whether or not you need antivirus software is who you are. Are you somebody that is potentially going to be highly targeted because of where you work, because of who you are, because you're a journalist, an activist, you're a whistleblower? Are you somebody that a cyber criminal would go after specifically? Or are you just somebody that is not very technical, that it has fallen victim to scams in the past, that doesn't know how to secure your devices, or that's not comfortable trying to mess with your device's settings? In that case, you might want to consider installing antivirus software just to be safe, to protect yourself. But it's also important to know that even though these programs are able to protect you from about 99% of all the threats that are out there, there's still that 1%. So there's still that possibility that they won't be able to block certain things that are highly sophisticated, like spyware programs, including Pegasus or Graphite, which are Israeli-made spyware programs meant for government surveillance and things of that nature. And the other thing that you need to think about is your privacy, because these programs are highly invasive, meaning that they need access to pretty much everything on your computer, on your phone, in order to scan and potentially identify something that might be malicious. And so it's important to know whether or not you are willing to give up some of your privacy in order to get that extra layer of security, and make the decision of whether or not your security outweighs your privacy concerns. At the end of the day, antivirus programs are a last line of defense, and it's ultimately up to you to decide whether or not this is something that you need, this is something that you want to pay for. But if you're somebody that's highly targeted, if you're somebody that is not tech savvy, then it might be highly advisable for you to install one of these programs. If you're somebody that is very tech savvy, that is very cautious, that is able to keep your devices up to date and configure them appropriately to secure your devices, to enhance your security in your home by setting up your router properly for security, then maybe it's something that is more of an optional thing for you. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide whether or not you need or want antivirus software on your devices. And yes, the next question will likely be, what antivirus software should you use if you decide that you need it? And for that question, make sure to subscribe, because I'll be addressing that in my next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.